Hey YouTubers and do-it-yourselfers. Today I want to talk to you about repairing clear coat on a car. Clear coat is really just the shiny finish that goes over top of the base coat of the car that gives it the color, and it makes it look nice and it's easier to wax. This car that I'm looking at right now is a 94 Stealth twin turbo. So you're probably thinking, well, 1994, that's not so bad. I mean, stuff's going to happen over the past 20 years. But this is actually a repair job. The rest of the car is in great shape. This is a repair job that was done in 2004, so it's just over 10 years old and it should not look this bad. Alright, so the first thing you have to do when you're taking the clear coat off is when it's really bad like this situation, then I would just use a straight edge or a razor, and all you're trying to do is just get underneath the clear coat a little bit. Careful not to scrape the paint too much. And you're just picking off the edges. It just flakes off in full pieces like that sometimes. Once you get the really big and bad pieces off, then I'm going to use a scratch pad to get the other stuff off. It's going to look a whole lot worse before it looks better. So don't stress about that. That's all part of it. I'm not touching the paint. This is just the clear coat, the shine that's on top of it. Once you're done with the razor blade and taking off the big flaky stuff, then I suggest you get a scouring pad before we go to wet sanding. And you take the scouring pad and just start doing this light sanding again. It's not sandpaper, it doesn't have to be wet. And you're just taking off more of the clear coat. Unfortunately, a little bit of the base coat is probably going to come with it, but that's just the price of doing business. So you're going to continue to sand with this. At any time you want to see essentially what it's going to look like with the clear coat, you can just take a wet rag and wipe off what you're looking at and make it look damp. And that's essentially what it's going to look like when you're done. It's not going to be perfect. This isn't a professional job. This is a make do, give you a few more months, maybe a few more years, maybe a few more months even out of what you have. But it will be better than what it was, but it won't be perfect. Once you've finished with the emery pad, the scouring pad, then I'm using a 1000 grit sandpaper. Now the 1000 means that there's about 1,000 grains of sand for every inch of paper here. I don't know if that's exactly true, but that's the number. I would, you could do 800. 800 might even be a little bit better because 1,000 doesn't have a lot of grit. Make sure that you get your paper wet as well as the area that you're going to be doing. Get it nice and wet and start sanding away to try to take that line out. There's going to be a fine line between where you chipped off, scraped off, and the regular clear coat. And what you're trying to do is just smooth that out. Remember, it's not going to be perfect, but the better job you do now, the better your clear coat's going to look. And there's no way you're going to have a good clear coat if you have a big thick ridge in between. Put some tape along here so that I have a line and I don't accidentally scratch or start scraping areas of the paint that don't need to be fixed up at all. When I see the water going from gray, in this case clear to a gray, to more of a darker color, that means I'm getting into the base coat a little bit too much. So I'm going to start backing off a little bit in that area. I don't mind when it's clear and gray, but with this black paint, I don't want to see an undue amount of black paint or black coloring coming off, because that means I'm taking the base coat off. I don't want to do that. Once you've masked off the area, I like to get a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a microfiber towel, as clean as possible. And you're just going to quickly wipe the area down one last time to make sure you have it free of all contaminants and anything that might affect your finish. Alright, so when you're shooting your clear, it's a little easier than paint, but it's still something you got to be a little bit cautious with. When you're shooting a clear, do it in quick strokes and start moving the can before you press the button. That way you'll avoid a big blotch and a big smear, because once you have that, you're in trouble. So start moving the can, then turn it on. It's going to take about 3 or 4 coats like this, waiting anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes in between each coat. That's good for now. That's quote 1. Now that it's done, I've taken off the tape and the plastic, and is it perfect? Nope. Is it better? Absolutely. This is under direct light. It's significantly different. The line that you see, the bottom line that is here, it's tough to see a little bit, but that bottom line, that is the transition line from the tape. So in a day or two, once this clear coat gets a chance to harden, I'm going to lightly sand that out and then clear coat just with a couple of quick soft blasts to take that transition line away. But it is absolutely incredibly smooth to the touch. You can't feel anything. You can see a little bit from the clear coat, but the actual surface is perfectly clear.